Hey everybody, the other video I made got messed up, so I'm just going to redo it. I don't want to mess with it anymore. Um, I had told you in my first video on the description about artificial sweeteners and high fructose corn syrup, that sort of stuff. I'm a firm believer of not touching that stuff. That stuff is bad. It's toxin. It's poison, basically. I mean, the reason they get those, even the ones that say that they're made from real sugar, they get it to the state it's in to be 0 calories uh, through chemical processes. I don't want that stuff in my body. I realize if you're diabetic, it's different. You can't just eat straight sugar all the time. But even then, you have a choice. You don't have to eat all the foods that require sweetening all the time. Like I said before, stick with the natural foods as a diabetic, and it'll really help you a lot. Stay away from those grains too, the carbohydrates. But you kind of have a choice even as diabetic. So stay away from artificial sweeteners like high fructose corn syrup. If I accidentally eat something because I was dumb enough not to check the ingredients, and I eat something that has high fructose corn syrup or any of the artificial sweeteners, I become violently ill, and I mean that literally. I become very ill. I'm in that bathroom sick, whether it be diarrhea or stomach, whatever. I get physically ill. So I know that stuff is just, it's not natural. You're not supposed to have it. Um, and you got to stop and think. It's sad to say, like I said before, this country, I don't see a lot of people caring about a lot when it comes to our diet. You have to remember, if everybody started eating really well and not getting sick all the time, they wouldn't be creating all these foods and artificial things to treat those things that you got from not eating it right in the first place. So, you know, um, it's sad to say, but I don't know if you've ever heard of Jamie Oliver. He's in the States now. He's from England, and he's trying to get the lunches in our schools to be healthier because we're eating such garbage, giving such garbage to our kids. And I thoroughly agree with that. That stuff is terrible. Um, a lot of the illnesses that this country has come strictly because of our horrible diets. Yeah, environment isn't always the greatest with pollution, what have you. But if you at least try to have your foundation of your body healthy to fight off some of these things, that's much better. They don't promote that. When I see people promoting diet, drink this, you're going to get thin. Take this pill, it'll help you stay thin. I get so angry at that because that's not teaching you how to eat well. That's a temporary fix. And so many times some of these drugs and things that they've come out with, pills and drinks, whatever, next thing you know, they find out it causes damage to the body. Yeah, no kidding. They're a bunch of chemicals, they're a bunch of stuff thrown together so that it doesn't teach you. So forget all that junk. When you see these ads, oh, drink this, you'll get thin. Oh, eat that. Take this pill rather, and forget all that crap. That's not going to teach you how to eat and live well. So start, as I said before, start training your mind to eat the healthy foods. That's the only way you're going to stay healthy, get healthy and stay healthy. That's the only way you're going to start losing weight naturally and the way you should, not 10 pounds in a week and then be sick. Um, you just got to, change your way of thinking. And also try to get your vegetables and fruits as much as possible organic. I realize, that stuff is more expensive, but a lot of times that's an excuse too. I'll give you an example. I was in the grocery store. It was long lines. We had to wait. We're waiting. I noticed the lady's basket next to me, and I'm really good about checking basket or knowing the amount of what a food costs. So as I stood there, I looked at her basket and I added up all the stuff that she had in there: Cokes, cookies, pastries, microwave foods, Coke, what do you call it, juices, all kinds of just junk. And she probably had about $130 worth of garbage. And I thought, well, and she was a heavy woman, and I thought, now if you took that money and applied it to vegetables and fruits, lean meats, what have you, and you just drank water instead of buying all these Cokes and juices and sweetened drinks, you'd probably not have a weight problem, and you'd be essentially saving money in the long run, okay, without all the medical bills and what have you. So a lot of times that's an excuse, I can't afford it. I realize that there are times it's harder to get the better things. I've been there, believe me. I remember when I was a single mom and when we had 5 kids at home at once. I was married, I've been married twice, and I remember those times. They were lean, and you had to kind of sometimes get what you could afford. But that doesn't mean you can't integrate certain things. You can start putting little things here and there. And when somebody tells me, oh, I can't afford to buy the vegetables, well, you know what? When I see you go and spend $15 on a cake, don't tell me you can't go and spend that 15 on vegetables and fruit. Uh, And I see somebody say, "Oh, I can't afford the good meats." Oh well, when I see somebody with their basket filled with all these microwave garbage things, which who knows what comes out of those containers when you microwave them. I see all those stacked up. I'm thinking you could have applied that to the good meat rather. So you can come up with a lot of excuses, but the bottom line is if you really try hard and if you have to cut back in other areas of your life of things you don't need in order to get good food, then you do that. Because you know what? I don't care how rich you are and how much you have, a big house, how many cars, whatever you have. If you don't have your health, you're not going to really enjoy that very much. If you're sitting in your house sick or in your bed because you've been eating wrong, your health is shot, what did all that money get you? Nothing. If you have to cut back in certain areas for yourself and for your children, then you do that. If you can't afford to go buy them this fancy game for $40 because you need it for food, too bad. They'll survive if they don't have another game right away. It's up to you to take that control, not let them control you. And there are a lot of areas you can cut back in life to get good food, which is more important than anything you can own. I'm sorry. Things are great, but if they're going to take the place of you eating well so that your body is healthy and you're healthy throughout life, then they're not worth a thing. They're not worth a penny. So you kind of have to think about that as well. And I know when it comes to kids, it can be hard. They can, they want to convince you, I need this, I have to have this. You have to turn around and say, I'm sorry, right now I need to be giving you healthy food. That game isn't going to do you any good if I'm feeding you garbage because I spent all that money on all this computer stuff and all this other stuff. Well, when you leave home and you're sick and obese and what have you, well, what good did that do you? You have to take control. But, mainly this video was, the fourth one was to tell you to just start changing your whole process. Um, Use this fit stuff. I don't know if you can see that. Use it for fruit and vegetables. This is my favorite one. It's a fruit and vegetable wash. This stuff gets everything off of the fruit and vegetables. And I don't care if it's organic or not. I still use this because you don't know where it's been, who's touched it. I don't care. I want my fruit and veggies clean. This stuff is incredible. If you were to go to the store and get 2 regular apples, not organic because the regular ones have waxy coating and stuff. That's why they're so shiny and pretty. Go get 2 apples. Spray one of them completely, totally with this stuff. Set it down for about 5 minutes on a plate or on a counter. When you lift it up 5 minutes later, you're going to see like a grayish sludge under it. That's all the crud that came off of it. So I have a little vegetable brush that you can get anywhere. And I scrub all my vegetables and fruits with this fit before we eat them or cook them without fail. I won't eat them now because if they're not organic, they're going to have pesticides and who knows what else. And even if they are organic, like I said, you don't know where they've been. So I feel better cleaning them really well with this stuff. It's a natural, I don't know if I did the right side there, but it's called Fit. It's a natural cleanser for that stuff. They have different brands, but I prefer that one because it doesn't, I tried one from a health food store. It got all soapy and sudsy. I actually had a sink full of bubbles from this stuff. Couldn't rinse it off, so I didn't like that one. This one is great. Rinses right off. You'll actually see a difference in the color of the fruit and the vegetables. You can spray it on things like broccoli and things where you can't scrub them, but let it sit on there for a little bit and then rinse them thoroughly. You'll see a different color of broccoli. It'll be a deep, dark green, nice green, and then the other one, I did that. I separated a head of broccoli. The other one that I didn't wash had a grayish green. It was totally different. So I use that all the time. So that can at least help if you can't, afford the organic. But try to remember, we're supposed to, however we got here, whatever created us, whatever your belief is, we're not supposed to eat all this artificial stuff. And you got to remember, if we were all eating well and all these illnesses weren't there, well, this country is like, oh my gosh, and how are we going to, pass out all these pills and diet drinks and all this crap, profit, profit, profit. I mean, look at this country. We have all these diet drinks, diet foods, spas, workouts, places to go work out. We have all this incredible stuff. How fat are we still? So it's not working. And you can go get your stomach stapled. You can do all that stuff. Well, we've seen that. I've seen it on celebrities who got their stomach stapled and they're right back to where they were, big again, because they did not change it up here. So a surgery isn't going to change it. Temporarily it will, but if you keep eating and eating and stretching that stomach back out to where you're eating a ton of food again, guess what? You're right back where you were. And I'll give you an example of my son has a couple of friends from another country, They came into town, our town, a few weeks ago. They all went out to eat, and one of them said, I was shocked at the amount of food that I was served. He said, the amount of food I had on that plate was what could be 3 dinners for me from where I come from, because I couldn't believe the amount of food. Well, that's true. So when you're thinking, oh, I can't afford to feed my whole family if I buy all this healthy food, well, remember, we're not supposed to be eating so much that, you have to spend a huge fortune just to eat, because if you transfer that money to healthy food, you're going to find out you can afford quite a bit. If you're not feeding your family a plate that's filled like this with food, you're not supposed to eat that way anyway. These two guys are lean and trim and healthy looking, and they were just stunned. They were just like, in fact, when they came here, they said they were just stunned while they were sitting there eating to see the weight on all the people. They said, you just don't see a whole lot of that where they come from. And so, yeah, you don't have to be eating massive amounts of food. My son and I, we use, the regular size plates. We don't use those. We use the next size down. Those are the ones we use to eat off of. Because when you have this huge plate, you've got this thinking, I got to fill that up. You get the smaller plate, the next size down, and you put your food on that, so you're not eating as much. And even when I go out to eat dinner, I can barely eat a half of whatever I get. Whatever they serve me, I can barely eat a half. Sometimes I can only eat a quarter of the amount of food. And then I take it home and I save that piece of meat or veggies, whatever, and I'll spread that over a couple days because it's so much. So you don't have to eat a whole lot. You can eat a decent amount, and still be healthy and not have your weight issues. So remember, when you're telling yourself, I can't really afford that, yeah, and a lot of times you can. It's just a matter of where you want to apply your money. Do you want to apply it to things all the time, or do you want to do it for what's more important, which is your health? That's the bottom line. Like I said earlier, I don't care what you own. If you're sick and in bed and you're on medications and you're in the doctor's office, you're getting surgeries or this because of the way you ate and took care of your body, well, that money didn't do you much good. So try to think of it that way. But anyway, that was mainly what I wanted this video to be about, which was to, tell you stay away from artificial foods. I just don't believe in those. Again, I'll repeat it. I don't believe in the grains and dairy. It's just not, I don't think it's good. And think of it in the way, like I said, you guys, I don't care what you have, and I'm going to stress it again. I don't care what you own. If you don't have your health, you just really don't have anything. And when you're young and you think you can get away with everything, you can't. You might think right now, oh gosh, I don't care if I'm a little overweight. I'm only 18, who cares? But guess what? You continue eating the way you are. You continue doing what you're doing as you get older. And I know when you're young, you think 30, 40, oh my gosh, that's ancient. Oh, good Lord, who's going to get to that age? That's forever away. You'd be surprised. So if you start younger, not only for your health, but your appearance, your skin, your hair, everything, you're going to be glad that you did. And for those, real quick before I end this one, I wanted to mention, I had one girl who I had told you about earlier. She had asked about tanning, and I said not to do it. And she wrote me back and said, well, I'm only 17, and how bad could it be, blah, blah, blah. Well, I know somebody right now. He's in his 40s, and he has had his face sliced open from here, like up here, down here, all the way down on both sides, and other areas of his body where they have to slice it open and take out the chunks of skin cancer. Obviously, the scars are massive all over. So if you're thinking because you're young you can get away with it, you better think again, because the time comes and you're going to be sorry you were out in that sun or those tanning salons. Don't do it. I just want to throw that in because I'd forgotten. It came to my mind, and I forget a lot of these things because I get a lot of questions, but stay out of that sun too. So anyway, talk to you guys later. I hope you're having a great day again. Think positive and start your day tomorrow with healthy eating. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.